Hello, I'm David Johnson of ACM Partners, and today we'll be talking about the 13-week cash forecast. Turnarounds are about cash and time, and the 13-week cash forecast provides turnaround professionals with information to answer key questions. Are things getting better or worse at an underperforming company? What is the peak cash need? And is that need in excess of the current funding available, i.e., is there a hole? Is this a case of a good company, bad balance sheet, or is this just a bad company? And is there time for an orderly sale process? A robust cash forecast will answer these questions, and in doing so, guide key decision makers on the appropriate course of action. It will allow us all to decide whether there is time to pursue a turnaround or a liquidation, or if there is time to seek to reorganize, whether in or out of court. A turnaround candidate is going to have a manageable peak cash need, is going to have a clear short-term path to reach operating cash flow break-even. That is before debt service costs, before the cost of restructuring professionals. Is the company actually generating cash flow on a consistent basis? If not, are there changes that can be made to ensure that it is? If at the end of the day a company cannot be re-engineered so that it is generating operating cash flow, it is probably not a viable enterprise. Does the company have a future with current stakeholders? Is there any equity value remaining? Are current lenders willing to continue supporting the company? If not, are new capital providers available and on a timely basis? For a liquidation candidate, what you're going to see is a peak cash need in excess of what a lender or other stakeholder is willing or able to commit. No clear path to reaching operating cash flow break-even. Again, operating cash flow break-even is a key point in turnaround situations. At the end of the day, can this company generate cash? Can this company pay for its own operations? If the problem is a capital structure problem, that can be fixed. If a problem is the temporary cost of restructuring professionals, such as myself, that can be fixed. If the problem is that at the end of the day, a company cannot acquire the materials that it needs, cannot manage its payroll, pay its salespeople, and after all of that, have cash at the end of the day, that company is not viable. And a liquidation candidate would generally see owner's equity wiped out and lender fatigue set in with no new capital providers expressing interest. No stakeholder is interested in seeing their company get to a point in which a turnaround professional such as myself is necessary. No one wants to learn about 13-week cash forecasts. It's something that most managers learn about at the worst period in their lives. The way to prevent this, the way to prevent ever meeting me in person, is understanding the warning signs. Sales weakness. There is a lag between sales and collections, and because of that, the cash impact of a missed sales target could lag a drop-off in sales by several months. This lag is a crucial and often missed opportunity by management team. When sales drop considerably and unexpectedly, management needs to push the panic button just as soon as possible, communicate to their lenders, and proactively seek assistance. Doing so gives them more time, and at the end of the day, as I said earlier, turnarounds are about cash and time. Input cost volatility is a huge issue currently. Recent high levels of volatility in commodity prices represent a considerable risk to margins. At the end of the day, the emerging market boom, the cost and impact of 2 to 3 billion global citizens entering the middle class in the coming decade is going to push up the cost of many raw materials. The impact is going to be that companies are going to be less profitable if they can't get a handle on these input costs. Purchasing methodologies are going to have to change. Hedging strategies are going to have to be considered, and some business lines are going to need to be exited. Ill-fated expansion initiatives are a continuing source of business for people in my industry. The temptation for companies in the current low-growth environment is to find some way, any way, to return to growth. Occasionally, these initiatives become considerable drains on liquidity. The new sexy division is showing great revenue growth, but just bleeding cash. Those things have to stop. If there's not a clear path, if there's not financing in place, those things need to end. Understanding these 3 key warning signs and acting appropriately if and when they appear will allow stakeholders to help their companies avoid considerable distress and, at the end of the day, maximize enterprise value. Thank you very much.